And I am honored here to be with Dr. Gary Woolman, a friend for maybe 45 years, and a visionary and a world traveler, and a speaker and a coach of speakers. Hey, Gary, how are you?
Great, Louis. It's wonderful to have these online connections with
That's
you.
great.
We've been doing this weekly for a while now, and it just absolutely dissolves time and space. So really touched, privileged, honored, a joy to share with
Yeah,
you.
one of the great joys in life is being able to stay in touch with old friends. Now, with these new technology, I know you travel a lot. Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in a 800-acre national park off the grid in Australia that's surrounded by waterfalls, and streams, and natural kangaroos and wildlife like you've never seen everywhere. So I'm operating life in a very different way than I ever did for all my travels before.
Wow. Good day, mate.
What's that? Say it again.
Good day, mate.
Oh yeah, I don't do
Good
that.
day. Yeah,
I
little
still have my New
crocodile.
York and California and persona.
Yeah,
I've been
little,
moving west my whole life, actually, and I basically wound up in this longitude between Sydney and Melbourne, and very much at home here. And good to see on your screen that you seem to be moved by my speaking, so I'm just going to
I
include
am.
that as part of the show.
I hope that's not going to affect our.
It's all part of the show. The way I work with people when I do my presentation coaching is
All right.
everything is a part of the message. So that
Yeah.
little thing that goes on the
You
screen,
know what? You know what
jumping,
that is? That's
that's
the
cool.
multiverse. You see, I'm doing everything all the time, all at once, everywhere. So that was just me shape shifting from one universe to the other.
Well, then you deserve an Academy Award, maybe 7 for
Absolutely, So, so one of the things I always loved about you is that you live your passion, and one of the things that when you talk to most people, no matter what they do, no matter how successful they are, most people do not know what their end desired goal is, and they don't know what their passion is. So even if they're successful in ordinary ways, um, so tell me a little bit about your passion. I mean, you do healing, you do so many things, but for the person that's listening, that's maybe a little lost, or even if they're very successful, if they're not living their passion,
that's
I
right.
have sympathy for them. So
I'll
to talk
unpack that
about
for
that.
you. As I
Yeah.
mentioned, I've been traveling all my life westward from New York all the way to this location here. My passion has always been freeing the physical, emotional, and creative elements through the human body. I was a champion springboard diver, track star, gymnast when I was younger. When I moved to San Francisco, I fell into, or rose up into, better spoken, the different forms of revolutionary at the time body therapy, somatic, body-centered ways of, as I found myself an archaeologist of the soul. And I was fascinated by digging under the surface of not just the physical tension, but also then freeing people's emotional hang-ups and people who have been lost, including myself at that time. I was seeking, helping people discover what lies underneath in the inner core. And over the years, in my becoming a court jester, an artist, a performing artist, a presentation coach, my work now is to help align all the centers so someone connects with their deepest passion themselves and is able to vocalize it in a body-centered way. So their words, their thoughts, and their actions are all aligned. Much more interested than ever in connecting the mental with the physical. I help introduce new self-talk, and then whether it's online coaching or face-to-face sessions, group sessions, help people then sink that in to the body, so that becomes the new default program. So I have all the strategies and ways to assist people to do that.
Well, I don't know what body centered means. I mean, I know what it means for me, but people know about massage, they know about Reiki, they know about movement. What would body therapy mean and body centered mean?
Well, body therapy means a way I've developed a form of stretching the muscles with my elbows, forearms, soft fists, fingers, thumbs, knuckles, that frees the physicality from patterns of rigidity in the body. That's the first dimension of it. Yet I always, being quite adept at verbal communication, found that by connecting not just the physicality and stretching the physical muscles, but by connecting breath, sound, visualization with the stretching and affirmations in rhyme at the same time, that multi-sensory approach, which what basically now I can do online, sometimes even more easily than needing or having to be able to touch a person, helps someone then break free from the old paradigm and the new self-talk. For example, it's safe for me to share my message with you as a statement. It means just a statement. But if I say that while my shoulder drops away, say this with me, Lewis. Notice what happens when you say these words. My shoulder drops away. Say that after me. My shoulder drops away.
Drops away. You asked me to finish that sentence and I feel better?
No. Just say what I'm saying.
My
Shoulder
drops away.
Yeah. More room for me. More room for me.
More room for me.
To trust.
To trust. My shoulders drop away and there's more room for me.
Trust what I feel.
Trust what I feel.
What I think.
What I think.
What I do.
What I do.
And what I say.
And what I say.
Hip, hip, hooray!
Hooray!
And that last part, as silly and Monty Python and ridiculous as it may sound, is the part that people remember. Then that lighthearted approach to connecting some deep statement like that, people may not feel safe. Their shoulders may be up to their ears. They may feel that they've never been hurt in their life. But whether I stretch the muscles or show them ways of stretching themselves while making that statement, then, this is when I said body-centered, then it is an instant anchoring of the new affirmation and self-talk, and then people start communicating with ease and trusting what they see, feel, do, and say.
You're really transcending massage or psychotherapy. It's integrative at a very high level.
That's right. But the physicality of massage is very powerful when I have the opportunity to physically touch. But these days, it doesn't happen so much. Being out here in the middle of nowhere,
sure,
I meet a lot of people online. So I show ways to stretch, and I keep implanting this combination of breath, sound, visualization, stretching, and rhyme at the same time. That's the process that makes it so instantly memorable. Then people return to this program rather than the old litany when they get stressed out. That's what makes it so magical as well as powerful.
It's great. I'm jumping tracks here a little bit. I know that in your career, you've been also a coach for people who are professional speakers. Right. So tell me about that, and then link it if you can. Maybe you can't, but if you can, link it to also the work that you're doing with body consciousness and centering and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can do that. Over the years, I had an opportunity at one stage to visit New Zealand and Australia when I just began to visit this part of the world when I was living in San Francisco and that part of the world. I came out here and just naturally, without even trying, somehow this happened. I noticed that my gift of gab and the various personality, along with my sensitivity and articulation about working with the body, I had an opportunity. I remember it just right now what happened. There was a man named Chris Hooper who had a holistic event at the conference in New Zealand, in Auckland, New Zealand. And he invited me to present. I was leaving New Zealand. It was 1989, 1990, my work. And at that point, I was only used to working with people on a body therapy team. That was what I was used to for decades. So I brought my body therapy table up on stage. This was the moment that transformed everything. And I asked who in the audience here has a challenge, either a physical challenge to your body or an emotional challenge in relationships, or a mental challenge in preparing something, if you want to prepare a speech or sensitive communication with someone, or spiritual things, and maybe you're feeling like you're lost in your path. Anybody come up to the stage. So I just trusted myself enough, so I was good at what I was doing, have someone come up on the stage. And I began to develop, both in that moment and in the growing months and years that followed, a finesse for connecting, until I didn't actually leave the body therapy table anymore, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual challenges and themes that a person was experiencing. I began to attract, and it just was natural, I didn't even try, heads of companies, heads particularly of national speakers associations in different, and they became my clients. Almost every single one of them had the same experience, but I helped them physicalize their presentation. I'll give you an example. One man, he was a big guy, and he was all over the stage. He was moving all over the stage, presenting his well-minded points. But it was really hard to follow him, because it's like, following a moving target. You can't focus on it. And I asked him, because of my work with springboard diving all those years, the body therapy, if you were to notice left and right, front and back, what different fields your body is naturally moving in when you're speaking about specific subjects, let's map it out. Let's choreograph your communication so what you say and how you say it is integrous. So people really absorb what you're saying and can't forget it, because they'll remember where you're standing on the stage and how you do. So in this way that I'm moving now in the screen, if you look at it from the audience's point of view, the way that Westerners are trained, on the left side, when you're writing a sentence, moving to the right side, it's moving from the past to the future. So I began to help them go, in the past I, right now I, in the future I. What's held me back? Then what happens when you pride in people? What am I doing with my voice and spine right now? Exactly.
Sure.
I'm slowly bending forward, I'm coming closer, I'm softening the voice. So I began to help map the communication. This was called the grid system, something I developed that I now teach
Sure.
online. It's very powerful. About 3-4 years ago, now winding us very, very much forward to a recent experience. I was in a entrepreneur club in Melbourne, Australia, and there was a man there who came for a session with me, a body therapy session. He was running the club. And I knew that if I helped him release his patterns of holding back in his expression that were embedded in the body, that he had been telling himself all his life, all the decisions and times he had wounded and hurt, definitely not heard, while stretching the muscles at the same time, he would create something really powerful in his ability to reach people, not just feeling the body. And it was a good experience. I didn't think much of it at the time. It's a session, that was it. But 6 months ago, out of the blue, I got a phone call from a woman in Sydney, Australia. She said, look, I'm the PA, the CEO of a very successful financial company here in Sydney. And we have a CEO who's big into extreme sports, really, quite switched on in that way, but he's scared to death of speaking and doesn't know it. And just won't step up and bite the bullet, so to speak. Excuse the expression. And he could really use your help. I've heard about you from this guy, this entrepreneur guy in Melbourne. I've seen your videos on your website, presentation.org. And I absolutely feel the way that you engage with people, with your body, with your voice, with your personality, he needs you. There's a lot of people that can really benefit here. You have some people that can benefit from the physicality of your approach and your ability to work with high-level speakers, which he is. He just doesn't have the mastery. So I'm now negotiating with her about working with this man and someone else in the company that just talks, so it's not concise enough. So I've created all these different approaches to assist people as a presentation doctor to shift these old patterns that have been in their way of really coming across with full engagement, impact, and effectiveness. So that's my marrying of the body therapy and the presentation approach.
You said something that caught my attention, and of course, I know somewhat about it, but I'm interested in your take. And that is the idea that the body actually absorbs on a cellular level or on an energetic level, stress or trauma, and it affects how someone is and behaves and thinks. Because this thing is almost like a virus, it's like a virus, so not really a virus, but not physically, but it invades the cells in a way, a trauma of some kind. Can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, sure. Often when I hear people ask me questions like that, I get little prophetic images of what to say next or what process to offer next. I get a little picture of it. So the picture I saw, Louis, when you were just asking me that, is about, oh, goodness, 20 years ago when I was already in Australia, about 5 years. I was presenting at an accelerated learning conference. And at this particular conference, there was a woman who saw me present doing what I do, as you see me doing it exactly like I'm doing it now. She came up to me after, she said, I'm so timid, I'm so shy, I could really use your help. So she came for a second. And in the session, she, exactly as you said, confided in me that part of why she's so terrified about standing up on stage is that when she was a little baby, her father and her brother took her clothes off, put her on a billiard table, and shot billiard balls at her naked body. So now whenever she stands up in front of a group, she has this memory of being attacked. That was deep trauma. That was not only in the memory in the body, but in her psyche. She couldn't speak up. But on some level, she was going to be just rejected by the audiences, or hurt, attacked, having the fear of even being killed, So I had her, thinking about this, share what had happened. And she was dripping a waterfall of tears at this point. So much of the pain that she'd been carrying for decades began to pour out of her body. And she began to have a shift as we introduced new self-talk
Sure.
to help her move forward in a good way that became more memorable than the old. This is a really good example.
All right, thanks. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but you have so much to offer, and I don't want to focus on one thing and have people miss, the great gifts that you have. In addition, you're also a fine artist, apparently.
When I started receiving the body therapy in San Francisco in my early 20s, one of the most magical, magnificent, moving things that happened with me is out came an outpouring of creativity. Paintings, plays, poetry, songs. I couldn't keep it in.
Sure.
I had it bottled up all my life because my well-meaning parents wanted me to become a professional anything, but they didn't expect that I would move into this very radical field, and then a few years later became a book
Sure.
So seeing myself through art, this is where I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation that I see myself as an archaeologist of the soul. What that means is, if all of this is bound in me, the creativity, then I'm going to dedicate this life, which I have, to freeing the physical, emotional, and then the creative gifts of expression rise out naturally through the landscape of the body. So my art, which I also have on my GaryWoolman.com website, has basically come through a series of decades of freeing the physical, emotional, and creative layers of tension that were embedded in my landscape. It's a very simple process. We're all the same. We're all buried in our own landscapes. Many people don't know it. Okay? It's wonderful to be able to say, yes, we're artists. We're all artists. To free that permission to fully express, and then to bring out the kindness, the caring, and let go of some of the traumatic ways, hurt people. And I had to get through that process myself, be able to step up and really be a model for what people do. Many people, when bottled up, don't have this kind of therapy, counseling, and coaching, are afraid that they're going to hurt someone. They often bring up all of these terrible wounds that have never surfaced, if not explosively. So my process is how to assist people both in my online courses, I have not just online courses with my audios, videos, but also a chance to one-on-one group as well, to interact with and shift their relationship with their past so they move forward in ways they've never been possible. It's such an exciting feeling.
Since you're really in a journey from the very beginning, where you see your future going, the work that you have, your arts, your healing, your body work, your coaching around speaking, the fact that you're living off the grid pretty much, not absolutely, obviously we're online here, so you're not off the grid 100%, but it's being in nature and with waterfalls. I watch all your Facebook posts, you're in waterfalls, you're swimming in waterfalls, you have your art. So where is this journey? Where is it pushing you to next?
Good question, Lewis. You can see me, how I
Yeah.
am, how I come across. I just turned 71 about 3 months ago. I don't
You
look
don't look a
70
day
at all.
older than 70.
Thank you very much. Such a compliment.
You're welcome. We're the same age, actually, so it's
Such a
we are.
thanks too. So as I am living off grid, and as I'm living in a way that my life feels much simpler than before, what I've come to in the waterfall, in my daily practices where I sit with the running water and swim, that perspective and meditation, clear the different energy centers, 3 words come to mind.
That's great.
I'm going to give you those three words.
Yeah.
Those 3 words are nurturing, inspiring, and empowering. As I take time every day, even just for an hour, to nurture, inspire, and empower myself with every thought, word, and action, my life has simplified tremendously. I do some sessions online. I do some travels, as I mentioned, with the CEOs and people who represent companies and people
Sure.
who are creative artists, but they're bound up within themselves. So I see my future is basically having more opportunities to share with developing leaders as well as heads of companies, countries, performers, leading performers, developing artists who are bound to release their optimal versions of themselves. That's my dedication at this stage of my life. I've done it for myself on the model for others to do it for themselves. How it's going to look, Lewis, I don't know. Whether it's going to be traveling physically, I don't know that we're going to have that freedom much longer. Don't know. If so, I see myself traveling the world and working with leaders, developing leaders.
I know you have I'm sorry, go and continue, please.
If not online, and I invite people to come here where I am, and they can also visit my group session.
I know you have a lot of courses, right? You have a lot of videotapes of your work.
I have 86 videotapes. I have 12 audios, all with transcripts of basically training audios. For those of you who are interested to dive deeper with me, I encourage you to connect with me directly, Dr. Gary, R-G-A-R-Y, at mypresentation.core.com. We'll put that in the information also here so you can see it. And let me know. I'm happy to give you a 20-minute or longer Zoom session. So you may want to record it. Some of the things that happen are just absolutely want to be remembered by you. And we'll create some tips and see what for you would make a huge difference in either purchasing my online audio training, video training, personal coaching online, or any combination. So we can personalize that for you. At this stage, I'm not a cookie cutter approach character at all. You can have the that I've already developed, and yet I will take it further by personalizing your journey so that you move forward in your life in a different direction, professionally, personally, and creatively.
That's great. It's really great connecting with you at this level and having people be able to see the wide range of how you can impact their lives and move them to the next level, not just through motivation or inspiration or information, but really it's really transformation. And that's where the future is now. People can get information easily on the internet, but transformation, not so easy to do without a solid mentor. And clearly you have your feet planted pretty solidly. That's Dr. Gary Woolman. Thanks a lot, Gary. It's great being with you.
Great to be with you, Louis. You're a great interviewer and a good friend. I look forward to connecting with you now. We'll turn off the recording. Yes, for any of you that wish to reach me and dive deeper, you can look up mypresentation.org, all spelled out.com, and that has some of these videos and descriptions of what we've been talking about. Write me at Dr. Barry at mypresentation.org.com, and we can explore ways that I can assist you further on your life journey with your creativity, your presentation, with your life force to move forward in a good and true way that's authentic to you.
It looked like one of those parallel universes was pushing its way in. Thank you. Bye-bye, Gary.
All right, let's stop this for now and we'll continue our conversation.
Bye-bye.
This is where it all begins, everyone.